Good evening, Agenda Rights. Um, yeah, look, we'll get it started. How we doing, gents? Cammy, we'll go to you last. Bath time. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm really disappointed, but I'm all right.
we'll discuss that in a minute. Yabba, how you doing, man?
Yeah, big up with the watch along, Mr. B.
What you love? You fuck up.
Well, we all look. You know what? This is why I don't like doing shows like so soon after a game because the emotions are flowing. And we're usually quite cool and calm, aren't we?
Yeah, but that's it's the best time to have it.
I've never been cool and calm.
But look, you know what? I'm a bit deflated. After the first half, I was, feeling okay, just a bit deflated at the moment. But with more talk and being around my homies, hopefully we'll get uplifted and see some positives about tonight.
If you're listening to Bath time, Candy, how you doing, man?
Ish. I think I'm deflated as well, but I saw some positives, but obviously I wanted a win and I'm a bit drained with that loss. And I'm a bit also pissed off with the manner of the loss, sort of. Yeah. But otherwise, there are some positives to get out of it.
All right, look, let's just say a couple of howdies in the chat before we get down to it. Bilal, world-class team, they rely on set pieces and the fluky goals to beat us. V, disgraceful that Amarin hasn't focused on set pieces in the lead up to the game. I'm backing him, but I'm sick and tired of this team. Man United are also supposed to be a club that attacks. Good grief.
Harsh.
Amarin knows the quality is not quite there. This is from Double A. Amarin knows the quality isn't quite there with the team, especially in attack. Andrew's asking if there's any apologies to Bath.
No one needs to apologise to me. I have to apologise to everyone else on a regular basis, so I'm not going to demand any.
Oh, Andrew, the diluted agenda last night, but wasn't just our fan base that lost their minds. Jeff is saying we need a better keeper. V, sick and tired of Rashford coming on in the second half of games to bring nothing to the table. Please go away and play for somebody else. Grace has got, I thought Rashford was Arsenal's best player. Great set. He wants Rashford today. She wants Rashford gone. And Jeff is saying he wants Rashford to go. Andrew is just saying Xerxes was so comical when he came on. All right, look, we'll leave those there for the minute. I'm not disappointed. I wasn't expecting the win. I was pleasantly surprised at how we played in the first half defensively. We did nothing in attack. I think the fact that we lost to the LA Rams today and their set pieces, I'm not bothered about. In open play, they couldn't break us down. Yes, Arsenal set pieces are good, but a goal is a goal. I would like to think that they would have rather tried to open us in game, but they didn't. I thought the team. I understand the team in regards to what he said about the two players resting. Maybe we could have called the team if he had really thought about it in regards to the players that would have been playing, the players who were rested in the last game. He seems to be doing a Chelsea 1 week, one team middle of the week, one team at the weekend, or a different starting 11 at the weekend. I'm hoping within the next few games he realizes what maybe his best team is, and not saying stops giving people a chance, because everybody needs to be able to find a position in the formation that he's playing. But I think we probably struggled more in the second half. Tired. A lot of players look tired in it. I just want to know what you guys' thoughts are. Obviously, Bath time, I know you weren't best pleased, but I am going to start with you. Come and talk to me, man. What's your overriding opinion on the whole game before we start dissecting player performances and stuff?
Well, I suppose we can start off with the team selection. I was surprised that Ahmad didn't start, but his replacement Malatia I thought was excellent in first half. But I thought he played really, really well. Happy to see him back. But overall, I'm really, really disappointed because I think the game plan was
Your mic sounds funny. What you done?
I haven't done anything. What do you mean? Oh. Is it bad?
It's right now.
Yeah. Go on.
Okay. I was disappointed by. I've lost what I was going to say. I remember now. So I think the game plan was about retention in the first half. Like there were lots of times where like Garnacho got the ball and he wasn't showing his directness. The same with Rashford, with Rasmus Højlund. There were no runs in between. So we were set up to keep possession, keep that structure, and deny Arsenal any opportunities. And I thought we did that really well. There was like one hairy moment where Ugarte was like a little bit slow to what could have been a sloppy ball from Bruno, and then Havertz like was an idiot for playing the ball, and they got an offside goal ruled out. There was that corner where Thomas Partey should have scored, but I felt that we did all right in the first half. The reason I'm so disappointed is because I think the plan was to stay compact, look after the ball, give nothing away, and then when the subs came on, to start going direct. And I'm so disappointed with Anthony, Xerxes, Rashford. I felt they offered nothing, and then we got absolutely bullied after Maguire went off. Like our midfield was getting eaten up by Declan Rice. We were losing second balls. The team is so unfit, and it drives me crazy that Arsenal's chances came from set pieces. You defend those set pieces and it's 0-0. And our best two chances were from set pieces, the De Ligt header and whatever Anthony was trying to do with that quite nice work set piece. I mean, I think he was trying to cross and he can't even strike a ball that well. But it's the last half an hour, the character I felt drained out of the team, and I felt that they gave up and that there was no real belief. And I'm all right losing a football match, but not with the last 30 minutes. It's just awful mentality to me. Let alone some of the stuff Rashford was getting up to. But I'm conscious about whinging. So, like, Yabba, give me some random and unfounded positivity.
Yeah, I feel like you. Like I said from the start show, I'm deflated a bit. But more, I was trying to think about the game. Yeah, we did have a couple of chances. Dello had a good shot, didn't he? His first touch was poor, but he had a good shot. It went wide. And I thought, woo, that was close. And I think we set up really well. Promising things from me. Just going to talk about a few positives. Forget about being negative on players. Were the way we set up. I love the way we're building up from the back. We sort of making them frustrated by passing the ball about. At times I thought we were going to go long, but like I said, I always said this: when I play in a free, and you got wing backs hugging the touchline, you can give them the ball, and you can keep it because they've got an option. They can go midfield, they can go forward, or they can go play it back to centre back. And 9 times out of 10, they're playing it back and recycling, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can try and close them down on the touchline, but the ball gets there. If you're a good player, good first touch, pass it back. I was really impressed. It's like day to night for how we've developed in keeping the ball and bringing the ball out. And I think that if we continue like that, we're going to become a very good team. There was one move in the first half. We played the ball out from the back, and then suddenly we're in their half and getting a crossing or something, quite dangerous. I thought that's really good. This is promising here. So there's a lot of things to be positive about, I think. Frustrating thing is for us, we were in the game. We were in the game. And we managed the game really well. But the problem is, once you concede like that, then the game opens up and gets stretched, and you go away from the values that got you there in the first place in a shout of getting a result. So I thought the manager done really well to bring the subs on straight away. Arteta, there's been a lot labelled on him about being too defensive. Obviously, the game with Man City when they played against 10 men, they could have put them to the sword, but they didn't. So I think Arteta was a bit concerned when we brought on the players, but they got good defenders. Saliba's brilliant, like we said, and they defend really well. And like you said, they were munching us in midfield. Partey, Rice, they're very good, strong players. So overall, I'm just a bit disappointed that we didn't get something out of the game. But overall, I'm saying, like Mr. B, I'm quite okay about it. Don't know how Cammy feels, but that's my take.
Yeah, I'm just gutted by the manner of the loss. You know, those kind of goals coming in were totally avoidable. But also Arsenal are good, and I think the FA should look at those set pieces. There's something dodgy about it. No, because I I think that's what's breaking my heart, because I saw Hoyland get fouled. I think he was fouled on the second goal,
Pushed.
and
Timber.
yeah, Timber. Yeah, and there's another game where they fouled somebody where it was controversial. They need to look at the way they're shoveling and pushing. What's a foul and what's not a foul? And if Amorim was smart enough, I think he could have encouraged the players to kind of because if you're all shoveling in the box, I think when you fall down, the referee is inclined to blow the whistle somehow. You know, we should have done more to try and stop that. They just bullied us when it came to those corners towards the end of the game. And when you look at it, the first half was so great the way we kept the ball. I was just frustrated with the fact that our attackers, more so on Mason Mount, for not really, getting hold on to the ball and playing between themselves and Garnacho to try and assist the midfield and the defenders, because it felt as though they did a great job to contain and hold on to the to possession. But as soon as it went forward, there was no one that was even trying. I think there was a chance where Hoyland could have literally tried to just shoot wherever the ball goes. Who knows? You can get a rebound, you can get a deflection. But he kept on coming back and passing backwards. And that was just giving more pressure on the midfield and the defense. Otherwise, I feel as though people might look at it like, yes, it's a loss, it's a disappointing loss, but we expected to lose. A draw was going to be a win. I was going to take a draw before the game any given Sunday. So I feel as though we should look at going forward. We would have learned a lot from this game. There's a lot we would have learned from these games, from those, especially the coach himself.
All right, I'm gonna get a couple of these messages up. V has got Yadi Loro. I'm proud of you. You did very well. Manchester lit. You are future captain. I have faith in you. This is from V. Chat Sport. Positive. Control the game for big parts, but we know the team is flaky. Mitesh. That was a tough one. They got 2 corners and did nothing else. Andrew is saying men versus boys. They physically bullied us. Tyrone. I'm backing Amorim, but I don't understand why he keeps backing certain players. They'll cost him his job. They'll cost him. Tyrone, sorry. I don't understand what people expect him to do. Is he just expect to come in and pick? I don't know. I'll keep my thoughts to myself on that one. Andrew's actually gone with some scores. Onana 7, Delit 6, Maguire 6, Maz 5, Delo 5, Malacia 6, Bruno 5, Ugarte 5, Garnacho 5, Hoyland 5, Mount 5. I'm going to take it 5 is the average, right? We deserve better. It's gone first half 10 out of 10. Second half 3 out of 10. Tyrone. Lenny looks like a Man United player. 1v1, he looks quality. Jeff is so ready for new blood. Grassroots. New system, same result. Tyrone is saying, I genuinely don't think Garnacho has what it takes to take us to the next level. Not enough pace for me and not skillful either. Man United need proper old school wingers who can take on fullbacks and cross. We leave that there for the second. Is this disappointment I don't know. I don't know. We didn't expect to beat Arsenal. They didn't batter us. And I just think that certain players, I mean, it's the same players that we know who are the flaky players, who are the players who blow hot and cold all the time. I'm wondering how long it's going to take Amorim to work out who he can trust and who he can't trust. I think he's beginning to maybe feel certain players. I do think Euro is going to be special, especially one-on-ones. The first one that he took, I thought, oh no. Then he stuck his foot out. So he looks composed. I'm not worried about him. There's players in the team who we know aren't going to be there come the beginning of next season. If Amorim has his way.
Like
so,
who?
Well,
starting 11.
Who started today? Well, let's be honest. I'm putting Ahmad into that starting 11.
Okay.
I do believe that if you're looking at what would be strongest, Mason Mount. I'm hoping it's a formation thing with Mason Mount. Where he's gonna find a place in the team. Bruno takes a lot less risks playing where he plays. If he plays beside Ugarte, I don't think he's going to be playing there. I would like to think it's going to be Mainu in there. Mazraoui, where does Mazraoui play? Because if Euro comes in, I'm going to assume Euro takes right. Mazraoui's our best player. Where does Mazraoui get into that?
Shocking tonight, Mazraoui.
Yeah, but I mean, shocking as in what? Defending set pieces?
Well, not just defending set pieces. I thought he was careless on the ball.
All right, bath time.
A lot. I wasn't pleased with him.
How much rest how much games off has Mazraoui had? Everybody else is being rotated, and he's not getting no rotation. Could it be tired? Could it be mentally tired? Could it be physically tired?
I think it's more like sort of fundamentals and basics rather than like
Jesus Christ, Mazraoui's been our best player. And now
he has, but we haven't been tested by proper attacks, have we? We played Ipswich, Bodo Glimt, and like Everton. And tonight, like I mean, like there's obviously other stuff going on with Mazraoui at the moment that might have affected him with the rainbow laces stuff. But I thought I was really disappointed with his performance tonight because he's one I thought I could trust, and yet he was like his role as a blocker on the corners. Him and Rasmus were absolutely terrible.
Yeah, but you saying they roll on blockers. Arsenal have been destroying loads of teams this season, taking set pieces, and a manager who is said he hasn't got time to train players. He has to be doing walkthroughs.
Yeah,
and then
so
you're
that's
moaning about players.
Arsenal scored 7 goals from set pieces this season, and 2 of them were against us tonight. That's a very large percentage.
Good grief. Okay.
One of them was a foul.
Tammy, I don't go along with this. You've got to be stronger in the box. I mean, I actually wondered if the Xerxes substitution was in response to the first goal from the corner, because I don't know if you noticed, but Rasmus was in the zonal system for the first one, and then Yabba, and then he got moved out.
Yeah.
But it's like it's the thing is, Mr. B, right? Is the reason I'm so disappointed from tonight is because we set up like a mid-table team against a team better than us, and that's fine because that's where we are at the moment. We haven't had enough time to work with the players, all this stuff. No issues with that. But it's the fact that there was no real sort of like belief in the team. Like you look at like Tyrone was bringing up Garnacho, like he wasn't really sort of turning and going at players. We were keeping the ball for the sake of keeping the ball. And that's all fine if there's a game plan. But then when it was time to sort of fight our way back into the game, there was no fight there. And that's what I'm disappointed about, is because I feel that the coach can only do so much. You know what I mean? He can go and set them out and ask them to play. And I felt that a lot of players just didn't like. Where was Delot tonight? Like Bruno
He was poor. I think Delon
he was the one I would agree to have been shocking tonight. Especially that he was now put back to his rightful position. You know, he was not playing out of position. He was in comparison to Malacia, who hasn't been playing for 18 months. Malacia was the better player in the first half. Because I would assume Malacia was subbed. Sorry?
You know, like Yoro, like got in some 1v1s that against Trossard and stuff like that. You never saw that coming down on Delot's side. I thought he did quite well against Martinelli. For me, it was the reason I was disappointed with him is that I felt that he was letting us get pushed further and further back because he wasn't making runs in behind. And that was one of the big issues with the team tonight, is that whilst we were secure with our passing networks and able to keep the ball, like Yabo was talking about, there was no movement in front of the ball. Like where were the channel runs? Where was the intent to stretch and open the block? Like, I'm okay with that if we don't do that for 60 minutes. But when those subs came on, there was absolutely no desire running, like anything like that. And that's what's really annoyed me, is that I feel a lot of players just came on with no belief and they weren't representing a proper Manchester United side tonight. We looked easy to play against after Maguire went off.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, not with everything you just said, but
okay,
you're talking about some of the stuff. So you talk about lack of belief. I don't agree with that. The only thing where I think the lack of belief comes in is that for me, and I'm not, I have to call it out, man. I have to say it. I think certain man is shook of Saliba, thinking, I'm not going to get no change out of this guy, so why should I burn him? Why should I put the gas on? Why should I try and do anything? Because he sometimes just turns out trouble, runs with you, looks like he's strolling out there. And someone like Rashford, who you think's got blistering pace, or Garnacho could go and dribble and drop a shoulder and get him all twisted up and all that kind of thing. They don't do it because I don't believe they can actually get anything out of him, you know. And I saw in midfield as well with my disappointment. Midfield, even in the first half, we were getting munched and pinched, not from physicality so much as in duels or anything, but sloppiness with their passing, you know, or not realizing you haven't got that much time. This is a game at a high level. You haven't got that much time to be touch. There's one in the second half of Bruno, you know, looking round, you know, jockey, and ran into the space, touched it too far. And I'm thinking, bruv, you know, you just give the ball away sloppily, you know, and you shouldn't be doing that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Use the ball better, especially in midfield. Got to be crisp, decisive. This is why I think like Kobe Mainoo has got those attributes to be in those tight areas, use the ball really well. Eriksen, that's why I picked him in my start 11. I thought in those areas, he used the ball pretty well. Bruno, no disrespect to him. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's our best player. But I think he needs to go back to that number 8. I know he can play there, but it's like a learning stage for him. It's like nursery right now. He's learning to crawl. And like we saw last game, a couple of errors where he didn't get back, you know. And then today again, he was just a bit sloppy on the ball and trying to do too much. Just do that at the top end of the pitch. Like you keep saying in the last couple of weeks, half time, are danger players that score, play them high, nearer the goal. So that's my disappointment. I just feel there was lack of belief and that they could actually take on these guys, as Mr. B was saying, and do something dangerous in the final third. We were lacking that sort of really sort of penetration from the players we expect to do better.
I mean, like for me, I think that like another thing that I was disappointed with is that there were no like attacking duels apart from Amad Diallo. Like at no point did any player really go at someone. Never did. Like I don't know if Saliba has this aura, but like I've been sort of thinking when you were talking about if it had been Van Dijk, who definitely does have that reputation and that aura amongst players. what it is, but is that like when I looked at Bruno, the first 5 minutes, I felt he was really reckless with the ball. He gave it away 3 or 4 times straight away, and I was like, "Oh God, this is going to be awful." And then he began to be a bit neater and stuff, but there was never any sort of real line breaking passes. The first one I can think of is Maguire, actually, when Bruno miscontrolled it and that led to the offside goal. I felt that there was a lack of intent to get at Arsenal. And I'm okay with that if it's part of the game plan. So when those subs came on, all that good stuff in the first 45 minutes was wasted. And yet again, our physicality is such a massive issue. And I don't know what anyone else thinks.
For me, I totally agree with you when it comes to like
Yes.
the attack. No, on the attacking part. I disagree with with Dalot take. The Dalot take, it's a little bit. But on the attacking part, when it comes to Mason Mount and Garnacho, they didn't, even Højlund himself, they did not take any of the defenders. And that's why I was saying that most of the times when we would break to attack, they would usually, go in the flank and then still pass back. And that was frustrating for me to see. And I was actually surprised with maybe it was part of his game plan, but his selection of dropping your most informed player when it comes to attack in Ahmad was a bit of a like, are you saving him to try and attack later? Okay, that makes sense. But to keep all your most attacking and your strikers on the bench, it was a bit questioning for me, because I don't really like Rashford coming from the bench. I think he's the type of player that plays well when he starts the game, because he kind of grows in the game. When he comes on as a sub, he's very ineffective. So I don't know if Amaron has been watching some tapes or has done some research to see that. That's something that I feel as though it's coming from somebody that doesn't know the squad very well. Because for me, to bench Rashford and Ahmad at the same time is just going in toothless. Mason Mount is a player that we don't know what he's going to bring. And clearly, he hasn't took his chance today. Again, he was shocking. He's gone out. We had 0 shots on goal, like in the first half. Even though we played well, we finished the entire game with 0 corners. So the attack let us down. One other thing that I saw, what I agree with you with the intensity dropping down when it comes to attack with the players that came on. There was a period where we were on the break and Joshua Zexes tried to beat 2 players and sort of lost the ball, but he was almost just a few meters away from Rashford. Rashford drops his head in disappointment, but instead of going in, he was not far off to back up and put pressure. They could have won the ball back. He just dropped his head and just went back, reverted to the same old Rashford, and did this slight joke back. I was nearly losing my mind. Yeah, no, it's.
Do you think Amarin? What do you think Amarin's going to think about Rashford after like the first month or whatever of being there? Because I'd be livid with Marcus Rashford tonight if I was Amarin for giving away that corner with, I don't know what he was playing at. Like, was he trying to flick it up and boot it over his shoulder? Yeah. I mean, you're not 12 years old, Marcus. You don't do that as a professional footballer. Like, I mean, that's... And then, do you remember that header he tried to do?
He tried to do the header. Oh,
he looked like he was skydiving. Like, it's like the Christ the Redeemer above Rio de Janeiro. But it was the lack of running. Because, Kenny, when you say like how close Rashford was to Xerxes, I think that the plan was to bring on your pace, power, and directness with Rashford and Ahmad. And I mean, if you want to be generous to Anthony, and then have Xerxes be that kind of link man. So the fact that they're stepping on each other's toes, it suggests to me that like Rashford is at a position when really he should be running in behind to make that space. And everyone's talking about how Mount didn't play particularly well. Mount's kind of role for me in that right-sided number 8 is to make runs in behind, to run in between the fullback and the centre-back and give space for people to be able to play in. And it's the lack of running tonight is what's really getting to me, Mr. B, because you know how much I bang on about runners, physicality. Do you do you kind of see tonight about how we didn't really do any running, and after an hour we looked dead on our feet? It's embarrassing.
Yeah, but I don't think that's down to Amarin. I don't think that's down
I'm not
to
saying
Amarin.
it is.
I'm listening. I'm just here listening. This is the first reaction where I'm not pissed that we've lost. I'm just listening to the negativity in the chat and the negativity between you guys. I mean, I know it's fresh, but there's been nothing positive that anybody said. Granted, we've lost, so maybe there shouldn't be anything positive.
But there were some positives. Like
Lenny Yoro was a positive.
Well, yeah, I'm still not sure I would have given an away day, a league debut to someone away at the Emirates.
Yeah, but he needs game time, and this is where he needs these players to play to get them up to a level where they can do more than 60 minutes and not be blowing out of their backside. So the more,
physical load.
Yeah, Molasse, he's had 245 minutes. I think at the moment they're just glad that he's got the 245s. There was never, even if he played a worldie in the first half, he was never going to play more than 45 minutes. So I think he's managing, and this is the problem that he's got at the moment. We've got to win games or try and win games while he is trying to work out who the shit bags are, as well as the players who can play. So his job is difficult at the moment. His job is difficult. Granted, could we have done better? Yes, but I don't think that was more down to him in regards to what he did. I think it was more down. I said the subs who came on were a disgrace. All of them. I don't think any of them performed to a standard. I wouldn't like to think they came on sulking. Apart from Euro, sorry.
And Ahmad?
But I like Ahmad. Right now, Ahmad's got money in the bank, innit?
Yeah. I thought Ahmad was all right. He was direct.
He did fine. Really, as I said, he did fine. I still would love to see him further forward. But Mayor said maybe that's something that's going to come in time. Maybe that's something that will happen when they get Euro in, and maybe they can move somebody else into the right, that the position that he's actually occupying at the moment. But to be fair, he plays that position really well. So, I mean, that's two. Ahmad's been bubbling anyway. I mean, look, moving forward, if we can, do you think that this loss, Bath Time, you were talking about it being, what's the words that you used? Like mentally draining or like it's going to do you think that this has done this to the players? Or do you think that they can draw some positives from it? And,
no. Like, look, I am disappointed with the players tonight. I'm not disappointed with the manager. Like, I think that, like, although I was surprised Ahmad didn't start, the more I thought about it, it made a lot of sense because he needed 45 minutes out of Malacia, and it's probably better to get to half-time 0-0 and then bring Ahmad on rather than, like, be 2-0 down and then put Malacia on. So, like, I've got no issue with the manager tonight. Like, what I think is that I don't think that anyone is going to really look at players like Maz, De Ligt, Ugarte, and say, do you know what? I've got less confidence now in them than I did beforehand. Like, I think they've still got a bit of credit left, despite not having great games. But I think that where the confidence is going to go from is from the coaching staff. Like, I think that they're going to look at Xerxes, Rashford, like Anthony, and know that you can't trust them. and that's what I worry. That's what I worry about, is that like who them Portuguese boys, they're going to be working out who they can put their trust in, who they can get on the pitch and will help them out. And I think that they've now seen that there's a couple of players there that they can't really trust. Like look at Rasmus Højlund. I think he did a little bit better than normal with his hold-up play tonight. Do you not think so?
No.
He can't. You know, it's bath time. His first focus is the player.
Yeah, of course.
His first focus is always trying to wrestle the player. Jesus Christ, just be smart. Step out. When the ball comes, you step inside the defender. You know what I mean? There's things you can do other than trying to physically fight him. I mean, one of the times he was wrestling and the defender moved out the way and he ended up falling on the floor.
Yeah, I think he's dreadful at it. But I thought that there was a bit of improvement tonight. Nowhere near like the level that you need, but you could. I saw some. He is still wrestling and things, but just a little bit of his footwork and how he was addressing the ball and stuff. It looked clear to me that someone's been on at him about what you've got to do. But Rasmus at corners has always been a liability. Like, I don't know if you remember, but against City, I think he fouled Rodri for a penalty. He's always been used as a blocker and never in a zonal system, which says a huge amount about how he uses his body and how good he is at winning duels. But I think that he kind of fluffed his audition a little bit tonight as the sort of starting number 9. But then Xerxes comes on, and Xerxes was sloppy on the ball. He was all right defensively. I thought he did some all right headers. I mean, nearly scored an own goal, but at least he made contact.
I was going to say, at least he got there before the Arsenal player.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's more than Rasmus did from corners. Like, and also the other thing that annoys me is they were basically 2 own goals. But I just think that in terms of like this being a step forward or a step back or sideways, I think it's a step back in terms of who the coaching staff feel that they can play and trust. Like I don't think there's any erosion of feelings between us, the fans, and the manager, or us, the fans, and the system. I think that once again, it's that like we're seeing players not getting anywhere near the required level of desire, commitment, physicality, and work rate.
Yeah, ish.
Yeah,
ish.
What's ish mean?
It's I noticed one other thing about Rasmus. I'm starting to doubt. You know, I've always been the person that has always championed to give Rasmus a chance, and especially from the first season when he came in with an injury. But now, minus the whole, backing into players and wrestling players, just the first touch to just put the ball down. Like, you're a professional player playing for Manchester United. You mean you can't trap a ball while you are, you like, it's plenty. Was I just the only one who was wondering that this person can't drop a ball down? Like, oh my God, no. He needs a lot of training on that. I'd rather play Zexi because I think he's more skillful when it comes to ball handling and calming the ball down and being able to, to play out players.
Yeah, but Cammy, will he press the way that the manager wants him to press?
I mean, if you're playing Zexi, then press from a mid block. You don't have to high press.
Yeah, but that's not the style that the manager wants to play.
But if you look at the first half today, that was tailor-made for Zexi because we were not going forward as much. We're not pressing from the top. We could have played Zexi, who would have held on to the ball. We could have maybe even played in Garnacho and had a few shots and had a few chances.
So you think it was yeah, but
they couldn't play through us though. With Rasmus, yes. they weren't able to play through us, and that's a good defensive structure.
But like when you look at but go if you wanted to say.
No, I'm backing you. Let's the bottom two deal with these two because these two are really excellent.
No,
Cammy, I'm with you. I'm with you on this one. I think for you talk about the press. That was a press high up. Xerxes would have been perfect because we allowed them to play out from the back and said once they reached that zone, we said right now we can block your passing lanes and all that kind of thing. Xerxes would have been more effective, I think, because not just that, because you're gonna against this. What I was saying earlier about confidence. Rasmus is not going to win a foot race with Saliba. He's not going to win no physicality with Saliba. Like you said, couldn't trap a ball, couldn't do all that. So everything's just more difficult. So when you talk about penetration, I'd rather have one of the guys running off Xerxes rather than playing Rasmus and having him as the guy to take on Saliba, because it's not going to happen. So I'm with you on that. I totally agree with what you're saying, and you justified it, and you made some really good points as to why. This pressing thing about Rasmus and everything else, I think it's a good discussion, but I'm with you on this one, bro. 100%. Xerxes is more talented. He can trap a ball. He can hold up the ball, and he will give a centre back like Saliba and whoever his partner is from week to week more problems, I think, than Rasmus, because anyone in the Premier League, the Premier, meaning the top, the number one league, you can't just get away with physicality. You're going to get eaten up. Absolutely. And when that doesn't work, Rasmus hasn't got it. He hasn't got the pace. Rashford hasn't got the pace at this level to really against top defenders. So you need something else. And I think Xerxes got those attributes to really hurt teams by bringing teammates into it and having people running off it.
So poor team selection.
No, I'm not. Look, he's new.
Maybe
one more point.
On that. Go ahead. Maybe
so
just
one
on
more
that
point. Yeah, go on.
I just wanted to say, like, to answer when you said poor selection, maybe just on that one player, considering the type of tactics he had set up for us to play, that one decision he could have done better, because if it was us pressing upwards like he normally does, yes, Rasmus Højlund, let's go for it. But now we had Mason Mount there. We could have used his space while Zex is playing him forward, playing Garnacho in, and because we're also pressing from the mid area. So Zex was tailored for this game to start.
Yeah.
So you have a go.
Now you talk about the manager. The manager can walk away from this, and you know how he is. I would love to hear his press conference. We didn't have time to watch it because we were doing the show, obviously. But I guarantee he's going to be thinking to himself, right, I've only lost to this good team who I know about. We've played against them in Sporting. I only lost to them by 2 set pieces. It's not that bad. Do you understand what I'm saying? I tried a little thing. It didn't work because these players are new to me. It's not that bad. There's still enough there to work with. And going back, the only thing I'm disappointed with the manager on, you shouldn't have brought Maguire off. You don't change a guy like, especially the centre guy of the back three.
He was on the yellow card.
I know. I understand that. But
no, there's some comments about that from Amarin.
Yeah. Oh, is there?
Yeah, he said, like, look, I don't like changing players in games, but there's time limits. And one of the players he mentioned was Maguire. That there's, and that is about the team are not fit enough, and he's got to spread the physical load of matches across the squad. So it's not that he didn't want to bring Maguire off; it's that he had to, and that is something that Ten Hag never did. He played players like maybe he was always under pressure. But so there you are, Yabba.
Yeah, my thing with that is I think Maguire was having a decent game. I thought he was, using the ball really well, especially in that centre role. I thought he played out on the left, but he played out in the centre, which means you're the guy who's going to have a lot of the ball. You'll be spraying it about, linking up the play, and he done that really well. Some of his passing between the lines was really good as well. Maguire's a very good player, and I hope people start to appreciate him before he's gone, because we will miss him once he's gone. So big up to Maguire. I just think he's the scapegoat right now because he can be brought off. Why didn't he bring off De Ligt then if that's the case? Do you know what I'm saying? So
it's you just heard what he said about game time and managing players' minutes.
Because he's just coming back from injury, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
He just said it. He's blatantly said that, and you're still talking about Maguire should have played the whole game.
Because I do think, regardless, I'm not undermining the manager in any way. I'm just saying I just thought Maguire played pretty well today. I was disappointed.
Even with
a yellow card, I was disappointed to see him come off the pitch because I was thinking, hold on a minute,
and then he
We're
plays an extra
vulnerable.
10 minutes and gets injured because he's playing for the red zone. He's playing more minutes than he should physically be playing. Come on, man. You lot need to open your eyes to some of the substitutions that are being made when these players are coming back from injury. You know what I mean? I get it. Look at Malacia. Malacia played 45 minutes. He was always going to play 45 minutes. The players who we should be moaning at are the Brunos, who's blowing out of his backside. Agate flies to bloody South America and back and still runs around like a nut job. You know what I mean? So he's his own personal level of fitness is the levels that we want at the club. Rashford, he runs, but where does he run to? You know, and then as soon as somebody jockeys him, he stops. He doesn't want to run back. So these are the players or players with that desire that we need in the team. Anthony is a bag of shit, but Anthony will track a man back. He's got the desire to track a man back, and he's had that not just since he's had that. I mean, what did you call him? A defensive winger, Bath time. You know, you used to call him a defensive winger. So, you know, as I said, I just think Amorim has to work out what's going on. Let me go for a couple of these messages anyway. Johnny Hill. It's the reason why I've never crashed on Maguire too much. Like, obviously, I don't rate him. I want him sold, but I never question his effort. Jeff is saying, I'm positive we're going to see the same new players. We're going to see some new players, and a bunch of these bums are going to be out. Flex is saying, I think the issue with Mazza was him being left centre-back. We lost out. Flex has come again. We lost on set pieces, though that hurts. We should have trained specifically on how to defend them, knowing Arsenal are good at them. Again, I think that's a time thing. Tyrone is saying Rasmus was poor tonight, doesn't offer anything off the ball, and his movement is shocking. Andrew saying Rasmus hold-up play so poor, his movement is worse. They're in agreement. Xerxes may have maybe more talent than Højlund, but he's also more lethargic, lackadaisical, and lazy. V is saying Bruno Fernandes, captain fantastic, was non-existent tonight. Jeff is saying that you prefer Cammy and Yaba deserve Xerxes' heir to Cammy. Yeah.
You've got to use the hard end, Jeff. It's Cammy.
Cammy. Is that Cammy?
Yeah, it's Chris Kamara. Cammy, like Street Fighter.
V saying he loves Amorim's honesty. Look, he says what we kind of feel a lot of the time. But look, everything will, as I said, look, maybe his honesty, as I said, when he comes out, sometimes you talk too much. And maybe that'll be an issue there. I smell a gooner in the house. Silver, I would like to assume that is gooner boy. What's his name again? I forgot his turn. What's is it Tony? Yeah,
no, Tony Fox.
Yeah, is this Fox? Silver.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why. Anyway, we'll find out. We'll find out if there's any more comment. V saying, Harry Maguire was all right tonight, but I'm sure he was on the pitch. I'm sure he was on the pitch when the first set piece went in our goal. Was he on the pitch?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but De Ligt was flawless tonight. He is better than Maguire, for God's sake. I think that's just going to be something that people will agree on, or disagree on. Let me see if there's anything else from Silver segments. There wasn't. Okay, we'll leave that for now. Oh, Kieran, how are we getting these players out of here? How are we getting these players out? They're not going anywhere on the contracts that they're on.
Yeah.
Jeff is saying Yaba loves Maguire like he loves Bruno. Yes, I knew it. I knew it was you. I knew it was you, Silver. I knew it was you. I could smell you. I hope you're doing well with your
Tony Fox, respect, man.
Your NFL football team. Are you happy that you beat us with 2 set pieces and you couldn't open us up in open play? Let's hear what your opinions is on that. I've gone through the messages. We can get back to talking.
I
I
just
thought
had
Maguire was good.
Yeah, I wanted to add on the comment about De Ligt and Maguire, because we are so used seeing Maguire and people, when people say so many bad things about, even when a player has a good game, it's you see them through these judgy eyes. But on De Ligt's part, De Ligt is such a such a Rolls Royce that he just does things so well that that it's hard for you to even notice him in the game because he's just so clinical, very technically gifted, and that that's a for me that could be our future captain going forward while we phase out Bruno. De Ligt is and his aura, his manners, mannerisms. He seems like a humble lad as well. So I really rate him a lot, and I think he's going to offer more with Lenny Yoro. Looking at he's young too, so we still have quite a good defense to look forward to going forward as a squad.
I'm not a massive fan of De Ligt. I've got to be honest. I felt that tonight he struggled again. Like there was a header that he should have eaten up in the second half that he didn't. I understand he might have injured himself. Like just before Maguire went off, he was like crying on the side of the pitch with an issue. But I'm still not completely convinced by him. What I do like about him is that at least he's got a bit of physicality, because once again tonight the lack of strong boys in our team is such a concern to me. Like I'm getting to the point where I wonder if Dalot should be playing next to Ugarte in the centre of the pitch just to have a bit of a physical presence. Like if Casemiro is gone, like from the team,
Half time.
yeah.
That's a hard take.
You want to play Dalot at central midfield because he's a WWF wrestler.
Yes. Yeah, I need physicality, Mr. B. I need people that can win headers and that can run, because that is every
But Dalot's
single.
been shit.
Sorry,
But Dalot's been shit.
Dalot was our best player last year, playing as an inverted right back. He came into midfield all the time last year. He didn't get like pinched very often. He played well there.
Yeah, but he's not a
thing is,
central midfielder though. Bob.
He's not. Are we really going to put Dalot in midfield, or
yeah,
consider
I
it?
don't see why not. Oh, well, okay, then what if I say let's put Maz at number 6?
No, I don't think
But-
he's a central midfielder.
Yeah, but also Masraoui is a different type of player when it comes to skill set. Dalot is more like one-sided. He cannot really use his left foot properly. But Masraoui is one of those.
I don't know
he
about
moves.
that.
Wow.
He's more
Wow.
balanced.
No,
I don't know about that. About like a guy
Dalot
that-
is good. He's good two-footed. He's good. He can use his left, I think.
his
It's-
only
look,
assist
we
this
don't
season-
know. The main thing is here. I want to see, like we've seen Maz play as a number 10 under Ten Hag. We've seen him play in different positions. But there's been a quote on the show tonight that Maz has been our best player this season. I disagree. I don't agree. I just think he's come in and he looks hungry. He looks,
Who's been better than Mazraoui for us this season so far?
I wouldn't say he's an outstanding player this season, to be
Onana?
honest. I
Who's
just
been
think
better than him?
I think maybe Anana's been better. I think maybe
Eriksen, Ahmad.
yeah, Ericsson scored a few goals. Ahmad's probably been better as well. I just think he's come into the side and looked good and looked hungry. And that's a good thing to see. So this is why people are saying, good performance. He's blended in like a duck to water. So I'm happy for him. I have to say that. But to say he's been our best player, I don't agree with that. He's played in different positions. Yeah. Even today he played in a position that I didn't expect him to play. I thought he'd be playing right centre back, but that didn't occur. And he played left centre back, where him and Malacia had a job to do with Odegaard and Saka. And I think tactically it obviously clearly worked, because Malacia is always going to dog players and get in and around them, and and he's done that well with Saka. And then obviously Maz backing him up, the intelligence he has. He's proved that this season. He's a good, hard-working, good professional as well, and understands the game of football. So respect to him. But I just don't feel that going forward, I just don't feel that we should be playing these guys in positions that are quite there, makes them quite vulnerable. I want to see Dalot and Maz battle for one position, rather than sort of put him as a makeshift centre back. And
yeah, I get that.
I get it.
I
But
guess
do
my
you
point.
you think we've got enough players? I don't think we've got enough players for players to be battling positions at the moment. I think maybe I understand what you're saying. I would love that. I think that steps up Dalot's game. Although I think Mazraoui munches him. To be fair, I think Mazraoui holds that position. But
at the moment, we've got to put like square pegs in round holes. I think it's a new system that we haven't recruited for, so we don't like. And I think that what we've got to look at is that we've got to look at like kind of getting the basics in there, and the basics are about winning second balls, running, being physicality. Before you can even play football, you have to have a physical level. And tonight, I think that Ugarte and Bruno didn't have that physical level. And then when you look at the side of the pitch that did have that physicality in Malacia and Mazraoui, they forced Odegaard back into playing Salida Lavolpiano, with like Odegaard was going back to third centre back in order to get on the ball, because those two, with their running and their aggression, were shutting him down. And obviously, when like I'm not blaming this on Ahmad or the manager, but when Ahmad went into that moved into that role, we saw Yoro getting exposed one-on-one, which he dealt with. But we also saw Odegaard taking more and more like chances, like getting more and more involved in the game. And I think that is because of like running power, aggression, physicality. And that's why I think it might be like if Casemiro can't do that, we've got to get someone next to Ugarte who can, so that teams can't like munch through us the way that Declan Rice and Partey were doing. And that is, and that gives us the foundation to build up. So the idea basically is we put our more skillful players out in the wider areas to sort of begin to create the play and have a more solid rest defence, a more solid centre to deal with. That is why I wonder if we might see a Dalot or Mazraoui playing in a pivot quite soon.
Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
I thought that was a good argument, well made, and you're just fobbing me off like that.
Yeah, I just
fair enough.
I'll give Bath time some credit. He didn't say definitely Dalot will play there. It's just something you can consider. Sometimes people make these takes and you say, you said this. You say no, something you can consider. We're talking about players moving, rotating and playing different positions, everything else. And it's something considered because there's a weakness. We're just identifying a weakness in that position, as exposed today with Rice and Partey, like you said. So it's something temporarily until the window opens, or until we can get someone in who can play that role, give us that physicality in that position. It's something for them to consider. We saw just two things. I'm going to say Pep lost Liverpool the other day. He said, "What are you moaning about? What's the big idea? We lost at Liverpool. There not many, there's no shame in that." And he also puts Rico Lewis, continues to play Rico Lewis. And I know people like him, he's talented and everything. But their midfield the other day was Gundogan, Rico Lewis, and Bernardo Silva. Compare that in the past when they had Yaya Toure, Fernandinho, and Rodri, for example. Big physical presence in there. And that shows you, and it shows me, that it is ideal to have in the Premier League. You need someone, a big, strong, physical midfield. And I thought Pep done that. When he was winning, when he was successful, he brought in big players, as in structure units rather than necessarily small players. Because especially in that position. So I just think there's something we need to consider. I've watched Ugarte today. We spent a lot of money on him. Does he have that physical presence to really dominate? I rarely saw him, and I said, I need to watch Ugarte. Some points in the game, I was watching the game. I need to watch Ugarte. Where is he? What's he doing? There's no, tidy yet, but running power, I'm not sure. All these so-called interception stats and everything else, yeah, that's great in other leagues, but I want to see more of him. I want to see him dominate games. I was thinking about Roy Keane against Arsenal. When I watched this game today, I was thinking, what did Roy Keane do? zip it into my feet, bam, running off the ball and scoring goals, you know, dominating. As in, I'm here. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I think Ugarte is just like pigeonholed. I am the DM, or I am the 6. I can just do A, B, and C. I just want to see character and great players at the club rather than players just being pigeonholed to do a certain job, and that's all that they feel that's required of them.
Yeah, I think you're right about like Ugarte is never going to be a physical presence. He's all like elbows and toes and things. Like he's going to be getting ahead of his man, getting the toe in, like mopping up second balls, all that kind of stuff. He's basically the best version of Fred possible, but he does need a unit. He does need someone there that can smack men about, win the headers and things like that. And like I think Bruno, like to be fair to Bruno, for his defensive performance, he made an outrageous block in the second half that was brilliant. He did a hell of a lot of running back, and he defended pretty well, certainly compared to was it Ipswich where he was very, very dodgy on 2 of the goals.
Yeah.
So I think I think that Bruno was actually pretty good defensively, but the 2 of them together, they don't.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that again.
I do. They never covered.
Really?
I love McTominay. They never covered the kind of like with McFred. They were called McFred because they covered all the bases, running about, height, all that kind of stuff. I think that we need to sort of go back to something like that with Ugarte, where we've got someone next to him who can deal with the aerial duels and stuff like that, and he can be about winning second balls and starting a press and so on. And that's why I suggest Mazraoui or Dalot or someone who I think is better suited for that going in there, because it gives us the base to fight our way into games. Because that was the problem in the second half, is that there was no fight, and we lost every physical battle until it got to Lenny Yoro.
By the way, Batham, I did notice that you were responding to a message that was about McTominay. I meant I don't want to see Bruno and Ugarte.
Oh.
That's the
okay. We can be friends.
Yeah, that's what. That's the pairing I was saying. That I don't want to see what I saw today again. That pairing of Bruno and Ugarte together is a mismatch. I think a game like this, I wonder what if we were going to sit. I mean, and now we're talking about somebody with a unit presence in midfield. Why did we put Casemiro on the bench? Because Casemiro would have bullied those guys as well. He would have tried all those professional passes. He'd have done all the
last game.
Last game.
Yeah. Who played the last game in centre mid?
It was still Bruno and thingy.
Was it Bruno and Ugarte?
No, it was Kobe and Casemiro. Yeah.
Right. Kobe Casa.
Yeah.
Again, these players aren't going to be playing twice a week. The only one who's going to be playing twice a week is Bruno, and I'm beginning to think he's just a fellatio king. I don't understand how he's played. He's played all of these. It makes no sense to me. Everybody else, he said, is going to be getting the 2 days rest, and they don't play, but he plays again.
Him and Dalot, they're proper athletes, like in our squad.
I understand that.
Is that the Portuguese tax?
Yeah.
No, that's the Portuguese sports science at work. Like you're wanting Casemiro there, who plays like he's a water park now. Never seen a man fly so much.
It's funny you say that because the manager said after the previous game we had, apparently Bruno was injured, and the manager said, he came back the next day in training and sort of praised him to say that he's so professional, so fit, that he hardly ever needs to a day off or a rest or anything like that. So I think that probably explains the guy's got a great record, Mr. B. I mean, he's rarely been injured since he's been at the club, and you can't say he doesn't put the effort in. He's not fit. This guy could run 10K every day and leave bath time behind in the mornings.
I can do more than 10K. Thank you very much.
No, I just feel as though the first half was very tailor-made for Casemiro as well. And Casemiro is a threat. We could have had some he's a very good passer as well, and that could have helped us. I love Casemiro. I'm just gonna put it out there. I I see the things he does, and sometimes he just, especially the period he was being isolated because of Eric Ten Hag's tactical decisions. That wasn't Casemiro's fault, and you could see it on the players' faces, frustrations. I think if you remember back time, the first time you and I had a conversation was over Casemiro. I think it lasted 15 minutes over me
Yeah, about
trying
how
to-
he slides in too much, doesn't slow down,
And
show down. Like,
the,
yeah,
but
man.
the sliding in comes from the fact that he's covering another person's position, and
No,
he
it's
can't leave
because
his
he can't.
position.
It's not.
He
It's out of
can't get.
fear.
It's because he can't get there. He can't get there.
I mean, I don't disagree, Canny. That I think tonight there, like, if you were to take the key moments in the game, Casemiro improves them, i.e., defending set pieces because he's good. He's good in the air, and our only real attacking stuff was set pieces. And he does, like, Casemiro has like a lovely range of passing. He gives the ball away a lot, but even like one of his first games against Everton, he released Ronaldo with a wonderful ball. But that is only when you consider the key moments of the game he wasn't playing in. If he was playing in that game, it might not have gone that way. And I'm fairly sure that Partey and Rice are just too powerful, like, runners for him to deal with. Like, Bruno and Ugarte are able to recover the space behind them, and Casemiro isn't. So maybe the answer is that the three of them could have played, and we dropped to number 8. But then you're going away from like the system that Amorim has. So I think it's a little bit unfair to kind of say if Casemiro was there, we would have done better, because we would in a couple of moments, but we might not have with the all-round state of the game, where certainly in the first half, like, I've no complaints with that midfield because they didn't allow Arsenal to play through us, and they weren't, no one was picking up the ball up in half spaces. The structure was really, really good, and I don't think Casemiro could have improved that.
Okay. You know what? Look, Arsenal, good side. Have to give them their dues and respect to them. They're at home as well. Their record at home against top 6 is good, and we haven't beaten them at home for a long time either. So I'm happy to move on without holding any grudges or resentment towards anybody, the players or the manager. Who's next? That's all I say. Like Goldberg, who's next?
Who is our next game? We've got
Forest.
Forest.
A physical side. A physical side.
Yeah.
Forest.
Alanga,
Damn it.
Hudson Odoi, Morgan.
Who's
Gibbs,
after
White,
that?
Murillo.
Can't
I
play
think it might be
Leicester.
Manchester City. But
No,
still,
we've got
tickets for
after that we're going to Europa. We are Victoria Pleasant, I think, on the
Okay.
12th
There
of
you go.
December.
good.
And then
Get
after
Lenny
that,
Yoro 90 minutes.
Yeah, then we get Man City the Sunday after that. So it's going to be boom, 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 boom.
Man City will be back in form by then, so it'll be
Yeah, they've
interesting.
just thumped Forest tonight. So
Yeah,
Oh, did they? Oh, wow.
yeah, 3-0. But look, guys,
Yeah.
it's late, and I still need to eat, and get it digested before I have to get up to go back to work. But look, my overriding thoughts on the game is we didn't get battered. We lost to 2 set pieces. They couldn't open us up in normal play, and I would like to think there is an improvement going forward that Amorim can make. I'm interested to see what team he puts out on Sunday. Is it Saturday we're playing on Sunday? Well, look, our next
Saturday.
game, Saturday. Yeah, I'm interested to see what team he puts out on Saturday. And if it's going to be the rotation, in which case then it'll be Xerxes, Rashford starting, Ahmad starting, Casemiro, plus whoever in centre
Mainu and
midfield.
Martinez.
Yeah, Mainu, Martinez all coming back. So I'm looking forward to what he does this week. I'm not going to dwell on this. I expected us to lose to Arsenal. But now we need to kick on. I think we need to, especially for the next couple of games before we play Man City. What's your closing thoughts for halftime?
I'm a bit happier now, having spoken to the lads. I'm still a bit disappointed, but like I did talk up Arsenal a lot yesterday. I think that like there's nothing we can really do about some issues in our team, like in terms of the physicality and stuff like that. And when Amarin came in, like, you know, I think there was some talk about short-term pain, long-term gain. I think that our recruitment tonight will be far better than it was. We're learning more about the players. I'm disappointed, but it's not the end of the world. And Yabba and Canny have given me like a little bit more like positivity to think about. So I thank them for that.
Yeah, I just want to say big up to everyone who tuned in. I know it's late and I know we're disappointed, but we move on. And I want to say hello to Canny as well. It's good to see you again on the show. Hopefully we see you more often. There's plenty of games, so we
There's
can't
plenty of
hide
games.
much anymore.
Thank you for having me. I just my closing thoughts would just be towards the manager. I think I respect every decision he's making, but for me, I feel he needs to identify the players real quick that he's going to start keeping in the team and do it now, especially after this game, and we have a game in the midweek, just to try and keep a team where he knows he trusts these people. He needs to start kicking on now, like Mr. B was saying, but he can only do that by first identifying the ones that he feels these are tailored made for this position so that they can get used to it.
Respect.
Fair enough. I don't know why you're worried me, but yeah, thanks, man. We have 19. I don't know why he was worried me. I don't think I said much, to be fair.
Might have got to your comment about Bruno being a fellatio king earlier in the show.
Oh shit! Maybe he's slightly behind. Okay, yeah, that might be it. Look, we will see, guys. So yeah, there you go. See, there you go. Yes, we got the 20. That's what I was looking for. Thank you very much, guys. We will be back tomorrow. I expect us to be in much better moods. Maybe not as happy as Yabba. He never seems to see the dark side. But yeah, look, bath time. Obviously, me and you will be the moany ones again tomorrow, and and you know, the happy boys will be at the bottom.
Yeah.
Good job, Yava.
But yeah, look, it's lack a notch from me.
Lack a notch from me.
It's a lack a notch from me.
And lack a notch for me.